Alright, greetings everyone. It is time to record a video, and we are roughly about 12 hours later. I mean, the data is out for new swimsuit Helena. I'm going to do that in another video. That's not what this video is specifically about, because I'm still thinking a little bit about whether or not I really recommend her and waiting to see what the global news is for today. That's not really why I'm here. I want to talk a little bit about the producer live letter for some interesting details, and I also want to talk a little bit about the EX upgrade or Master Ability 2 upgrades for our swimsuit units. So this video is not about swimsuit Helena. This is about the older units, and older units we shall talk about. So first of all, let's get into the producer live letter, because the producer live letter very much sets the tone for the rest of the month. And if we were ever curious about what was happening for the rest of the month, the Master Ability 2s is usually a good place to look. So first of all, first week is all the summer units. All of the old summer units are going to be getting there. And they already have. They've already gotten them, so that's done. We'll talk about that in a second. Week 2 and week 3, nothing. Week 4, Owlet, Titus, and Shell, along with Muraga. Now, I do really want to talk about this for a second, because I think that there's something interesting here. Nothing in week 3. Week 3 is usually the units, and if there are master abilities, it's usually week 1 and week 3, not week 4. Usually. Not always, but usually. Now, this could be a couple of reasons. One, we do see here that there are 4 units here and 4 units here. Master abilities aren't an incredibly high amount of work, and there's also job rebalancing and a bunch of different stuff going on. But I will potentially chalk this up to just timing, workflow, all that kind of stuff is a possibility. But since we are recording a video and we want to be interesting, let's talk about the possibility that week 3 might be something a little bit more. I do think that it is about time for another collaboration, not a new collaboration. So for everyone who's about to say, Final Fantasy 8, Final Fantasy 9, Final Fantasy blah blah blah, shut up. Kindly, I request that you stop. I foresee this usually August is like last year. I think it was Final Fantasy 4 repeat, and I could just see another repeat here because it doesn't feel the right time. We don't know of anything specifically that is coming around this date, whether it was like Final Fantasy 7 Ever Crisis or anything like that. That might point us more in the direction of it being a Final Fantasy 7 collaboration or whatnot. But I do think that this right here doesn't necessarily mean a swimsuit unit, because all the old swimsuit units have it here. We might just see another swimsuit unit here. We might see a story unit, or we could see a repeat of an old collaboration. Final Fantasy 6 would be really easy to do, and just have Kefka and give the Final Fantasy 6 units a boost. I don't think it's 7, because I think they're saving 7 for something a little bigger. If they're going to introduce Zack and potentially Yuffie this year, that would be a pretty major increase and almost anniversary, if not around Christmas or Crisis Core time. So yes, I just want to state really quickly that this is very wide open, but it is interesting at the very least, and we'll see what it is in about a week and a half-ish. Other than that, really nothing too major here that we haven't already talked about in the producer live letter, so I'm not going to talk too much about the rest of it. Let's get into the summer units. And for all intents and purposes, I don't have any summer units. I have 0 summer units. Please pity me. But no, I'm not here to get pity. On the JP side, you can potentially get an older summer unit for about 6k paid, and you get a bunch of shards as you go the way up. So potentially you could, get a summer unit of your choosing. I think it's choosing. But anyway, let's get into the increases and improvements for each of the characters, starting with the older ones. First of all, Summer Lilith. I still quite like Summer Lilith because, heck, Lady with Scars, that's pretty cool. Not necessarily because of an abusive past or anything like that, I guess I should clarify, but just because wearing them with pride, man, not covering them up or anything. I guess, providing that... you know what? This is confusing. Moving on. She does get the boost for the Earth attack units, like you would expect, and the improvements for the Earth attack units. But her other improvements are 10 increase in defense, 20% in HP, 10% agility, range +1, and immobilize chance by 25. Range increase is nice. The gunner increase is also going to get that too, so great across the board. I don't think that this unit is particularly bad per se. I just think that she is really, not as good as some of the newer units, and all of these improvements are just generally nice. Higher chance for immobilize is potentially interesting, but I don't think nothing here is really going to take this unit above and beyond what a lot of newer range units are doing. A lot of newer range units are doing way more than this unit is. Fine unit is an archer, and that's always high quality, but just going to say that I think this is a good improvement, but probably not enough to really make me excited to pull this unit as someone who's really, we're now, what, 2 years past this unit's initial launch, and I don't feel this is enough for me to be really excited. But I look forward to potentially being proven wrong if I see some versions of her really rocking it. Next up is Summer Ketone, who's apparently passed the other two for whatever reason. Coding. Alright, so skill activation time gets a decrease, AoE resistance, single target resistance, a little bit of spirit increase, and that's essentially it. And honestly, fire is just not good enough as an element. I don't think that's too mean to say. I mean, her TMR is still potentially really good because, nullify silence, charm, immobilize, but as the game has gotten on, there are better ways of potentially dealing with that, and this is kind of a weird little master ability because, just looking at the stat increases here, I mean, Spirit, I doubt she's really going to be that survivable. She has single target and AoE resistance, which is nice. Again, makes her better, but survivability wasn't probably the thing you should be focusing on with this unit. So, I just am not overly excited about this. Boy, what else to talk about here? She does get a little bit of an increase in her one of her skills, which I do believe is her limit burst. Yeah. Which now gets some spirit penetration on it to go with the sleep chance and the damage it was already doing, but it's still a pretty high AP cost. I just think that Summer Ketone, because of the element and whatnot, it's just not supported enough. Hopefully in the near future we'll see some support for the fire element, but until then, I think that this is a pass. Alright, next up, Summer Kilf, and let's talk about the two units that probably can do more with. So first of all, Kilf is getting the HP and attack for light allied units. She's also getting spirit increased by 20, an attack increased by 15, and a luck increased by 20%. Not bad stat increases. She wasn't that bad of a unit to begin with. One of the reasons that she is just essentially isn't seen anymore is because a lot of people are playing light evasion, but light evasion's time is kind of setting fast sooner rather than later. So I'm gonna say that this unit, I mean, it's so boring, but it's generally okay. Really, the thing though is that light evasion needs to be completely gone, and this unit needs to be able to do anything better, and I haven't had enough experience with her. But I just don't foresee me pulling her because there's such a almost disgusting amount of light units that we've gotten since then. We have Hope, Violet, Bach. There's just so many great light units that I feel like she just doesn't do enough good stuff, and Battle Axe is a fine, or Strider, or whatever it's called on Global, is a fine job, but not necessarily exciting enough. And last but not least, probably my favorite of the group, and maybe the one to get the a generally nice increase. So defense increased by 10, the Water Ally boost, a magic increase by 30%, agility increased by 10, and fire resistance by 10. So if she wasn't good at the fire matchup before, she is even better now. She is going to be capable of dealing more damage and everything, and I have seen her on, and I think that there's enough synergy with her and more, for example, along with a good anti-magic tank by the name of Celeste, that this is enough for this unit to still be potentially good and still be used. Also, obviously, with Scholar getting a little bit of a rework in Kododama, I feel a little bit more positive about this unit as opposed to the other ones. Like Summer Lilith, fine unit, but in terms of PvP or really being super good compared to other units, I don't think so. Summer Ketone, I think, is just way too not good, and in an element that really just doesn't support it with a lot of, you don't have the limited vision cards to make this work, so don't even bother. Kilf and Elsie, I think, are both potentials depending on what element you really like to run, but overall I think Summer Elsie's probably the best of the old summer units to get increased here, and that's just my opinion, just basing off what I do know and everything. Again, I don't have any of the summer units, so that might discount what I have to say, but it is a video and I have successfully talked for a while, so there you go. I would put the highest recommendation though on Kilf and Elsie, which isn't too surprising because they are the newer of the ones and probably relevant than the older ones. Although, yeah, I think I'll still put Lilith over Ketone almost any day of the week. So anyway, thanks for watching, and at the end of this video, well, no, I'll save it for the next video. I'll save it for the here. Let's see if we can get some. Let's see if we can get some stuff to end this. Don't see a gold book anywhere else lately. That's cursed. Anyway, see ya.